I'm in New Delhi and we just had 2 days of great discussion and presentations at the Mobile Broadband Summit. But what are the key messages from the event? I asked a group of analysts for their key takeaways from this show.
You know, mobile operators had an opportunity in 2 days to go from the technology planning, the roadmap from 3G to 4G, how do you build an LTE-ready 3G network, to backhaul, and to address where the packet core enables PCRF and policy management and how they integrate that into their OSS and BSS. So they had a whole 180-degree view of the 4G network of the future and how they can invest now to give themselves a 10-year life in this network and a return on that investment.
Mobile broadband activity, the time is now. The reason is, I think we're at a point where we are transitioning from what has been predominantly a voice-centric telecom economy to what's going to become increasingly broadband and data-driven. We are already beginning to see the early trends, new devices, more powerful devices, new applications, voice updates of Facebook based on mobiles, and the kind of penetration that these are having in pockets is astounding. And I think for a mobile generation in India, which is increasingly has grown up on a mobile diet, now is the time. And the key message for operators is get the story together and price it right, listen to the consumer, and then go live.
Well, in terms of the mobile network security aspect, the key thing I've learned over the last day or two is that the government's policy of requiring that vendors had to submit their source code to the government has been quietly parked, which is a very good thing because it wasn't a very practical policy at all. And as a result of that, the operators are able to concentrate on things which are much more important, much more practical, like educating their end users, like considering the architectural implications of LTE for their security, and like demanding more from their primary infrastructure vendors to make sure that their security features are really up to scratch.
Well, as we know, India just recently launched its 3G service on a wider scale. And one of the main attention that put on is the mobile data cards. And of course, one of the main obstacles here is the PC penetration, which is extremely low for this market. And what we understand from other operators in the other markets in the region, it's by providing bundled services at an attractive discount, which is a business model where we haven't seen a lot of adoption for the India operators. And of course, there's consideration on the underlying risk because usually these kind of packages, the payment is stretched out towards a year or two at least. And the financial risk is what if the consumer stop paying or just run away, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the risks. The other risk is stock management, where it's traditionally not the area of expertise for other operators.
Right, stock management of the devices.
For the devices, yes.
Right.
So, two ways to do this. It's one on the financial risk side, partner up with the financial institute. Have them to be the entity that collects the payment, and in return, do a revenue share with them.
Right.
In terms of, the stock management issue, also point out with vendors because they know very well how to handle stock issues and have them to be the owner of that responsibility. And for operators, you can just provide a shelf space in their retail stores and let the device vendor worry about the stock issue. So in that case, again, you do either revenue share or some kind of agreement. So if these two risks are minimized for the operator, for this market especially, hopefully they'll give them a chance to boost up the PC penetration, which they really need.